All right. Very good afternoon, and welcome, Mr. Soom, once again for this panel. It's may I request our friends to kindly take the seat. We are starting a interesting session, hopefully. So, Mr. Soom, you are one of the icons, stalwarts for the gold industry. And now I have observed you in the last 10 to 12 years as a kind of a catalyst of change for the gold industry. And moving forward, our discussion today is on the future S.R.O. S.R.O is, for the audience benefit, self-regulation organization, right? Which WGC has kind of worked very hard, has introduced. And that is what is going to be our topic of discussion. So World Gold Council has been working on this initiative, S.R.O, for some time. It has had a lot of discussions with the industry stakeholders over a period of time. So tell us about the idea behind S.R.O and what is the progress so far, especially in the context that World Gold Council is a body which is for gold and gold promotion. And whereas when I look at S.R.O, it's a much bigger canvas which you have chosen. So it'll be very interesting to know your views.
It's first of all, thank you for the kind words. I've actually learned a lot from this industry, and that's probably coming back to where the S.R.O idea came up. This was, you see, when last 10 years, if you see, we have had lots of changes. We worked on policies, etc. We had mandatory hallmarking, good delivery standards, PAN card introduction, you name it. But if you bucket all of them, they are in one category called hygiene. These are basic things without which this industry can't even face the world. We have managed now largely the hygiene issues. There is still that elephant in the room, as I always mentioned, the gray market, which is linked to the duty, which is linked to the practices. But leave that aside for the time being. Structurally, we have moved to all the big changes that are required, hygiene changes. What is going to be the next 10 years? If 10 years later, we were to play this video, what would be the conversations then and what would they think about the conversation we are having today? If you actually try to think back from 10 years ahead, that will be very interesting because the conversations, as I mentioned in my short thing yesterday, are going to change. We are not going to be discussing hygiene issues. We're going to be discussing growth issues. We're going to be discussing leadership issues. That's where the S.R.O fits in. See, what is an S.R.O? I have dealt with, and while I do have lots and lots of arguments and various discussions in my office, what I've learned is each one of them, when I interacted with them, I found they all have such a deep knowledge and such best practices. The point is, they are not synergized. It is exactly like how a couple of years ago now, things have improved a lot. Every association has a certain meaning, but every association were not working with synergy. At least now they are talking to each other, etc. We still need to make it a lot more synergistic. This is what I found. The best practices are scattered all over here. I don't think you will find such good practices in any other country because whatever you may say, it is my belief that when it comes to hospitality, customer service, I don't think you can beat the Asian market. Definitely you can't beat the Indian market. The problem is we don't market it well. We don't bring it to the fore at all times. There is always, it will function beautifully once and then it will fail once, because of which you're not able to market it fully. That's exactly what happened. That's the idea of this S.R.O. And the S.R.O also is a concept that came through when we discussed with GJC, a team. They said, no, we need your help and all that stuff. So we said, why don't we take fate into our own hands? That's the point.
So have you come up with some kind of code of conduct which this S.R.O, those jewelers will have to follow? And is it going to be a independent body of mix of jewelers, some government representation and some professionals? How are you going to structure this? And how soon we'll see the official launch of this S.R.O?
No, good question. It's, first of all, yes, there will be a code of conduct. If you remember, the first code of conduct was launched by us in IBJA event in 2014. At that time, the Prime Minister came out with a code of conduct for every citizen. And IBJA, that was our first IBJA conference, second IBJA conference. We said, why don't we have a code of conduct for the jewelers? And in fact, we opened up about 7 or 8 and we even launched it. But then we lost that trend and we worked on many other stuff. Coming back to specifically what we have done, we have now worked on the S.R.O with a set of principles, which is what you saw, the retail gold investment principles. That is global. It is 7 principles global. That is, if you're dealing in gold, you got to you have to observe those principles. Based on that, we have done the code of conduct for jewelers, for hallmarking agencies, for manufacturers, for bullion traders. Now, is that the final one? No, because that was done by World Gold Council. What we said was, this is what we would have to face when the S.R.O is formed. So we gave them a teaser kind of stuff. Now we have formed the S.R.O. S.R.O is going to be an independent institution. It has been formed. It is a Section 8 company, not for profit company. It is an existing company with which we were training assayers, PMATA, Precious Metals Assay Training Institute. We have renamed it as India Association for Gold Excellence and Standards. It is currently owned 100% by World Gold Council. We will transfer this ownership to a trust or other form of the trade. The S.R.O will be funded by us for, at the moment, I have funding only for 1 year, but we have promised the industry we will support it for next 5 years. But eventually it should become self-sustaining, because what happens is the S.R.O will be a separate company which will be run by the industry. It will have its own CEO. It will develop code of conduct. If you say I am following the code of conduct, it is not mandatory, then you will be audited. If you have a problem with the audit, you have to probably go back and change your process. And it is not only about hallmarking. It is not only about purity, it is about the overall business practices. So this is our whole idea. What is the S.R.O going to do? S.R.O is going to do 2 things, if I may just say. One is creating awareness. Creating awareness, you can do it in 2 ways. Training small jewelers about the best practices. Even if you are small, you can have the best practice. Second is marketing, campaign. Talking to the consumers to say, buy from people who are following good code of conduct. Don't fall for it. At 70,000, you're taking too big a risk, buying gold without invoices. The next one will be audit and certification. Now we will come into the audit and certification few years down the line as the S.R.O gets more mature. Immediately, we are going to use our awareness, which is both marketing campaign and running, training and all that stuff for the small and all sizes of jewelers. That's what we are going to do. But as I said, it's not going to be a WGC run entity. It's going to be an industry run independent Section 8 company supported by WGC for 5 years, post which it will be self-sustaining.
Right. So very interesting, very eye-opener, all this of your views. So coming to this jewelers becoming part of it, is this going to be any kind of a certification that this XY jeweler is now S.R.O certified?
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
Because my legal person is not here, I can boldly tell you this, but there are people from London office, they go and say, he will take the next flight and land here. Okay. We will not certify immediately. Right. The certification is a bigger responsibility. Do not forget, once you certify something, you should be able to stand behind it. Right. Because the consumer has every right to go against you and say, I bought from a guy who you certified. Now you pay me the compensation because he did this. Right. He bought it from some, conflict gold. I don't like it. You pay me the money. So we don't want to get into all that. So it is a very slow process, but you are absolutely right. Idea is S.R.O will certify people voluntarily. They will come take the certification. But that is a couple of years away.
But now, like country like India, where we took such a long time even to get into mandatory hallmarking. And there are so many small jewelers, as you were discussing in the earlier panels, who are not willing to organize themselves, come fully clean. So how do you see a challenge for this initiative, SRO, to get everyone, all the jewelry community under this umbrella? Of course, bigger ones, organized jewelers will be very happy to provide you with the data, sales, profitability, their working HR policy, whatever you need. I'm sure you need a lot of things. But what do you do with a guy who's in a small tier 3, tier 4 city in a small town, sitting, doing a small business and maybe a one-man, two-man show? Is this also going to cover him? And how will we challenge to cover this?
You see, this again, because S.R.O, as I told you, is going to employ its own people, I would like them also to think through this. Okay, I don't want to solve all their problems. Okay. But yes, if it is a two, see, this is the thing, Sumesh, we have to move away from. If I'm small, I can't be as good as you are. No, you can be small and good. There is nothing. Today in the world, everything is miniaturized. In fact, the smallest thing is what gives you the maximum power. The iPhone that we are holding has more power than a PC 20 years ago. Correct. So small is not a limitation. Definitely, we want to do is to offer a common platform. We are not going to take away the work of the associations. Number one, more associations, good for us, but all the current associations will be sitting on the board. What we want to do is do something more than what the associations can do and behave more like a coach, behave more like a principal. So you're not only a coach, you're also a principal, because even a coach will say if you're not following something, you're out of the game. That is what we want to do. It's not an easy job, but just imagine 10 years from now, you have an S.R.O. 10 years from now, I never thought India Gold Policy Center, which we thought through, will do what it is doing today. It is now it's a massive entity in our gold ecosystem. S.R.O. will be one such entity. That's the whole idea. I'm not belittling the challenges. I'm not saying that there will not be even hiccups, but we are ready to face it.
Right. And just hypothetically, if there is a jewelry retailer who's dealing only in diamonds, or say lab-grown diamonds, or for that matter, platinums, it will be also covered under S.R.O?
Well, the whole idea of a self-regulatory organization is on gold for us. But along with gold, if there is going to be diamonds, now, we don't mind it. But we want to be very sure that when it comes to gold, when it comes to customer service, when it comes to treating employees fairly, there are certain processes. We will work with RJC also. We will work with LBMA. We will work with Bureau of India. We are not going to take away anybody's job. Right. All we are saying it is, if you have committed to BIS, you will do hallmarking properly. Are you doing that? I'm not going to take over hallmarking and do, okay, you've done it, now let me do your purity test. No. Are you following that properly? The whole idea is to give the consumers a trust in our system. Right. See, today, while consumers buy so much gold, still there is no trust. Look at bankers. There are so many bankers. They only deal with bullion. The industry credit is still treated as a high-risk credit. Right. Very high risk. Not because it is gold and you can run away with gold. Not because
that is one of the reasons. It's very liquid.
No, but there are many. I mean, you are selling liquid itself. So they are funding that with a low risk. Okay. But the problem is our practices, our brand as an industry. That's what we want to up. So if 10 years from now, S.R.O. has met nothing, it is not even certified, but the industry standards has gone up 3 notches above. And let's take the government says, you're doing a good job, let me put my representative in it 7 years down the line. That's a good enough initiative to do it. We want to support the industry to raise its image. That's the whole idea.
Right. So you're also saying that it brings more consumer confidence in the product. So besides making the industry more transparent, do you also see then the growth in jewelry industry because of this initiative?
Absolutely. You see, you always have to have an ambitious plan. You asked me, is it going to be a brand? Yes, IIBJA will be a brand. You can put that brand if you are certified. Okay. Now, once I see that brand, I know whichever part of the world I am from. let's assume the SRO has established enough confidence. I'll walk in and do whatever I want with that. I can sell gold, I can buy gold, I can repair gold, because hopefully the SRO will be strong enough to say, anybody who carries my brand, walk in and deal with him. He's a trustworthy guy. That is what it is.
Something like you have a super brand, something. If we look at a parallel of this body in India, what comes to my mind is probably not exactly same parallel. Advertising Council of India is one thing comes. If I look at little on a more higher notch like SEBI, is there something going to be a SEBI?
AMFI, you are saying AMFI, your mutual fund association.
A mutual fund association,
yeah.
Something like
But
that.
you should know, Sumesh, thanks for raising this. We studied 18 or so institutes or such self-regulatory organizations in India. Automobile Association. We studied LBMA. We studied AMFI. We studied a lot. Indian Banking Association. We just took the best of all. We realized this is not a regulated industry. See, AMFI is dealing with regulated institutions. So it had a certain structure. So we looked at Bar Council, CA Institute. All of them had certain features because all of them are self-regulatory, right? I mean,
and most of them don't have any, what should I say, as a legal power is not there. It's more moral power.
Yes, but there is there is also disciplinary power. Like if you don't follow a code of conduct, what does Chartered Accountant Institute do? I'm not comparing S.R.O yet. Please don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm a chartered accountant myself. It has got a long way to go there. But I'm just saying, what is the charter? They will first say that you can't practice.
They'll remove you out.
Yeah, you can't practice. So that stick is also there. But we want to first use the carrot.
Right.
Basically, you take it. Consumers have more trust in you, which means your business will grow. That is why you become a member of the S.R.O. Because you become a member of the S.R.O. because consumers will walk into you confidently. Right. And you become an S.R.O. member because another S.R.O. member will deal with you confidently. The whole idea is to build an ecosystem of trusted people. Today the trust is in side conversations. We want to just publicize this trust and say, oh, you trust him? You tell the world why you trust him. You know, let both of you get the S.R.O. certification. That's the whole idea. It's a grand ambition. Let me put it very clear. These are initial days. But you got to start somewhere. And the industry is now ready for it because as I told you, last 10 years is about hygiene. Next 10 years is about growth.
Right. So I have just quick 1 or 2 questions. How many members you plan to enroll, say in the next 1, 2 years, 3 years? Any?
One of the most important things I agreed with London is there will be no targets.
There will be no target.
Absolutely. The moment you put a target, of course, we do have expressions of interest. We already have some 600, 700.
Right.
The last thing one would do is to go for a number. The moment you go for a number,
voluntary thing, like it's a voluntary thing.
It's a voluntary
thing, right? I think this is the probably World Gold Council's first initiative, which is India-driven and may go globally from India.
Yes.
Right? So you're going to take it to other countries of the world.
Absolutely. India is leading this initiative, which is why our responsibility is a lot more. And I've discussed with all the associations. Let us show that India can lead the way in a self-regulatory organization in the retail gold industry.
I think we need a big round of applause that India is going to set standards for the world. I think that way we have even BIS, to be honestly, has proved by introducing HUID, which is nowhere in the world.
Absolutely.
They got it and we have done it well.
Absolutely. See, Sumesh, yesterday that's what I mentioned. You see, the proof of pudding is in eating. We have done a fantastic job in hallmarking.
Yes.
Can we still take it to RBI and say that if somebody comes to you with a hallmarking certificate, please don't worry, give loan. Are we still ready for it? That is the confidence. This is what I'm saying. Next 10 years, conversations have to be about extreme confidence. Right. Are you confident? Are you saying hallmarking has worked? Okay, then let's talk to the RBI.
Right.
If you don't, then you are just pussyfooting.
Yeah, but just to give an example, hallmarking BIS has done it. I think even London or for the matter, America can't say that you have HUID, go to the app and check what is the weight. It's a great achievement.
Absolutely. Now the associations have to take forward. That's what S.R.O. will do.
Right.
Absolutely. It will actually make hallmarking, the HUID, a tool, a monetizable tool, We just don't want it to be just a HUID just for the sake of it. It has got to be a monetizable tool. You do HUID, you get easier loan.
Right.
That is the link.
It's like my Apple phone. I go to the Apple service center with the serial. I can say, no, I bought 6 months back, so service is available free. But when they check, no, it is actually 1 year old. So everything is clear.
Yes.
Great.
Absolutely.
So I think wishing you all the very best for this great initiative. And one thing you're not mentioned, the launch date.
We have got the approval for the name, etc. 2 weeks ago. In a sense, there is no grand launch as such, but we will announce. The people who are sitting on the advisory board already know about it. We have got some 3 external members. I'm still not ready to disclose them. Some of them know it. Very, very senior people. We're going to do that in the next probably 1 month or so.
Right. So I have a message that we are already running short of time. Thank you very much, Mr. Soom, for this wonderful interaction and for this great initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together.